Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages. It's a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We do this every day, almost every day here. And welcome aboard. If you're listening out there somewhere, the others out there in aerospace, we also have a live group that joins us every morning. You can join us too. Just email Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, and you can jump in on this. And it's sort of interesting. We see each other every morning. We know each other's names. We scroll around. We look what's going on in their house and their apartment. Some people have blurred the background so we can't see in. I know who you are. But that's okay. We have a little community here, and we have a much bigger community that meets in all different places. Like we're having our retreat at Super Soul Farm coming up, and I think there's one space left or two spaces left. And a private space. We got a new Airstream. Someone wants to stay in the Airstream, you can christen it. And our Italy retreat, which, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Mukunda Kishore, who sponsored somebody. It's a really nice gesture if you have the resources, because you sponsor someone for a trip like that, or a retreat like that, or a pilgrimage like that. Some people have the resources but just can't go. And so they sponsor somebody, and that way that person gets to have a deep spiritual experience, and you affect their life in a deep way. It's just such a beautiful offering. Good morning, Mr. Kastuba. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Raghunath.
Good. Good. He's doing good. What's going on with you, dear?
Good morning. I got some announcements.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings. The men meet at noon and the women meet at 2 p.m. And there's in-person meetings in Nashville and Alachua.
Alrighty. Maramy cooked outside yesterday. Just cooking on fire. So good. It's so grounding, cooking on fire. Yeah.
Cooking on fire. Okay, Raghunath. Because your stove is one of those, I don't even know what they call those things.
My stove in my house?
Yeah. It's not like
they call it an electric stove.
Okay, but I mean the electric stoves used to have that coil kind of spiral thing.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yeah, yours is like this flat kind of like plexiglass kind of thing or something. I don't know what it's made of.
It's not plexiglass that would melt, but
I know,
it
that's
is some type of inductions. I don't know.
It's not induction.
No.
It's not induction.
Whatever it is, I hate it.
Yeah.
And Mara never complains about anything, but she complains about that stove.
I don't complain very often about it.
She comes
But
up.
I do hate that
Comes
stove.
up once every fortnight. It comes up about how am I supposed to cook on this? But we're cooking outside now, right in the Magic Garden.
There you go.
You know, by the way, someone wrote you can't cook a roti on it. I got news for you. I mastered cooking on an electric stove.
Yeah.
When I moved out of the ashram, I went to my mom's house and mastered making chapatis.
Simple wire coat hanger will do it.
I took the toaster grill out and just put it above it.
Yeah, you got to put something above it.
Yeah. First you
But it's
fried
not the
it in
same.
the frying pan. No, it's not the same. Matter of fact, the best is
Cow dung.
Cow dung. Second The second best.
Wood.
Yamuna Devi told me this. Neem.
Well, that's wood.
Prabhupada would prefer neem, cow dung. Gas is better. The gas is lower on the rung. Electric is the lowest class of chapatis.
No,
Chapati cooking.
now there's microwave.
Well, that's the lowest class, probably.
Really bad. Okay. All right, let's get into this right now.
I was already in it. This is it. This is it. What do you mean? Let's get in it.
We got a nugget to read today.
We got a nugget. Oh, I miss Vrindavan. Oh, shout out to one of our Bhakti Vinod. What was Bhakti Vinod's old name?
King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts, Bob Healy. He and his wife Bobby had a baby.
That's one.
Bob is married to Bobby, and they had a baby, and they also called the baby Barbarelli. No, just kidding. It's the baby's name is Freya. Freya Healy.
Get out, like Freya.
Yeah. We have another Freya in our life. So congratulations, one of our old school others / Zoomers. It's baby month. Everyone's having babies.
All right, we're gonna.
Okay, here is the thing. Ready?
Who's it from?
This is from Saint Augustine
And
others.
yeah,
One of the others. All right, I'm going to take credit for this one too.
This is another one that's like Saint Augustine. It's been attributed to him. It's been attributed to John Wesley.
This is what happens when I take a quote, put it on my Instagram, but I don't give credit for who quoted it. So someone will quote me a quote. This book quote's by Raghunath. It's just sort of like one big step for man, one small step. One small step for man, one big step for mankind. Raghunath.
Well, there's quite a few people that this one's been attributed to.
We're going to
give an important one.
Saint Augustine.
We'll go with Saint Augustine.
Okay.
What does he say?
In essentials, unity.
Unity. Okay.
Sounds like an essential. In non-essentials, liberty.
Liberty.
In all things, love.
Okay.
What do you get out of that, Castillo?
What do I get out of
that? What are you taking away from that?
Well, and by the way, I have the Latin here.
Oh, you can skip the Latin. I don't.
No. We're gonna do it. I
understand
thought you're the
it.
big language guy. Come on,
I'm not.
there's language
I'm not.
people out there.
I'm an
You've
English
claimed to be the
language
word
guy.
nerd. In necessaris unitas. Remember Johnny Unitas?
No.
You weren't interested in football when you were a kid? He was like the
What?
greatest quarterback of, well, I guess the era
The
just
Green
before
Bay
us.
Packers or something.
No, that was Bart Starr. Unitas was like
How old are you?
the
You remember
Colts.
Bart Starr.
The Colts.
Bart Starr.
In necessaris unitas, in dubis libertas, in omnibus charitas. Sometimes it's translated as
Charity.
in charity, but I looked it up, the word charity, and found that the archaic, definition of well, it says the third definition I found of charity was kindness and tolerance in judging others. And then it said the archaic one is love of humankind, typically in the Christian context.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I like the translation. In essentials, unity.
All right. So what does that mean?
Non-essentials, liberty. In essentials, unity. In other words, I think this is especially, this formula, it was shared, this idea was shared, was handed down as an aid in Christian communities to get along with each other, I suppose. Like there's always going to be differences, right?
Sure.
But let's be united in the essential things. Let's find out what's essential. And then there'll be other things that are non-essential that we tend to perhaps give too much attention to. And in non-essentials, liberty, well, with the things that are less essential, do what you want to do. And the things that are really essential, let's all get on board with it. Let's all get on the same page with that. And the things that are less essential, let's not get all, what's the word I'm looking for? Like ornery about that, or let's not get too concerned with the inessentials. They're not so important. But in all things, whether it's like finding our unity in the essential things or our liberality in the non-essential things, the motive behind it, the mood behind it should always be love, right?
Charitas.
Charitas.
Charitas, we call it.
Yeah. And so it's said that this was a term. I know that Bhaktivinoda Thakur used this term.
Hmm.
I don't know if he coined it. I just don't know of anyone that used it before him. But he used this term, the Saragrahi Vaishnava.
Hmm.
Right, Saragrahi. Sara means the essence, and Grahi means one who accepts. Right? We accept the essence, or you could say we seek the essence. Right? This is kind of what can take one from the level of religion to spirituality,
Sure.
or from superficial spirituality to like real deep spirituality. Is I'm looking for the essence of something.
Hmm.
Like even you and I were just talking right before the show. Like there was someone that has an interest in bhakti, but has a lot of, well, let's put it this way. Let's not talk about any individual, but even within
Name
like
names, please.
no
I
names.
want a name.
But even like say within the school in our modern day communities of bhakti yoga, some people are really concerned about the way you dress,
Yeah, it's a thing.
and some people are like it's not so on both ends. Some people are saying you really need to dress like a so-called traditional Indian way. It's really
Yeah.
important part of this practice. And other people say actually it's that insistence that is holding everything down, that people in the Western world can't relate to because you're wearing these clothes. In either case, that's a non-essential.
It's non-essential.
So let's have liberty. You know what? If you want to do it this way, go for it. If you want to do it that way, that's okay
Oh,
too.
that was good. Good analogy. Good analogy.
Okay. Yeah. Or well,
That's
an
how we feel.
application
That's
of
how
it.
we feel. Let's go whatever way you want. It's not. It's a non-issue. It's a non-essential.
But an essential thing would be, for instance, how you relate to other bhakti yogis.
Hmm.
Right? Like in other
There you go.
the respect that you need to show all humanity, what to speak of those that are also practicing bhakti yoga. That's an essential aspect of our practice. You know, sometimes we get caught up in the non-essentials and we fight over them and we overlook the essential ideas, like how we treat one another. You know, it's not so essential how we dress. It is essential how we treat one, how we respect one, how in all things love, right? So and that's just one example. Now the Bhagavatam itself, the whole thing is kind of this boiling things down to the essence, you know, in several places, but in Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is called the sarva-vedānta-sāraṁ, Srimad Bhagavatam, Isvate, that Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedas, sarva-vedānta-sāraṁ, right? If you boil it down and boil out the inessentials, you boil it right down to the Bhagavatam, which is the essential part of all of Vyasadev's teachings. And there, even like in the pastime that we're reading now, you know, you could say from certain Vedic perspectives, you could look at Prahlad and say he's born in the family of the demons, right? Like, you know, this tells us a lot about who he is, a lot about his character, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
He comes from a bad family.
Yeah.
Bad parentage.
You know, there are details like, say, gender roles.
Sure.
Now, I would argue that there's certain truth in gender roles because there's certain differences in the psychology between men and women, but it's not essential. It's not. It doesn't speak to the essence. And Bhagavatam is kind of to help us understand the essence. A lot of times, it's turning these things upside down, right? Prahlad is a child. Generally, you get wisdom from the elders, but that's a detail. The essence is the wisdom itself, and whoever's got it, we honor them. So Prahlad becomes so honored, even though he's from the demoniac family, even though he's a child, because he embodies the essence, he's glorified. You know,
love it.
You know, and that goes on in many different, in so many different, you know, it's so clearly laid out in that pastime where the wives of the Brahmanas, you know, in the 10th canto, which we've spoken about many times, but where maybe you could just very briefly share what happens there, if you want to. And if you
With the wives of the Brahmins.
Yeah.
I was going to roll onto this whole other thing, but that's okay. Yeah, the wives of the Brahmins is Lord Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys. They were playing. They were dirty. They're dirty little kids. They're dirty little kids in dirty little dhotis. And here's a very big religious function happening with all these erudite pundits, scholars doing a fire yagya. And there's chanting mantras, and they have to chant them with precision, articulation for the mantras to have its efficacy. And, whenever they have one of these fire yagas, they have fruit around the fires that they end up at the end putting into the fire.
Or they make offerings, right? They make offerings of.
Yeah. Yes. And so.
But you're picturing the fruit. Is it when you sit at a fire yaga, you're thinking, look at that fruit.
Look at that fruit. I'm going to get that papaya. That's mine. I'm like spoiling the yagya. But anyway, so all these fruits are there, and the cowherd boys see it, and Krishna sees it, and Krishna says, we've been playing so hard. Go ask those priests and see if they'll give you some of that fruit. Tell them Krishna and Balaram are hungry.
Tell them Krishna and Balaram sent you.
And the kids were like, I don't want to disturb these guys. He said, just go ask.
Here you go, adding your details to it.
Tell
it brief.
I'm trying to tell a story.
You don't only boil it down; you start adding false details.
It's not false. This is my vision, man.
Okay, all right.
I thought about this deeply.
Okay.
Please go get some of that fruit. So they went. A bunch of little boys went up. Excuse me, sir. They're all chanting these mantras. Imagine if you have this very, very immaculate, clean ritual going on. Here come them dirty little
talking about how dirty they are.
They're playing in the forest. They've got animal feathers in their hair. They've got dirt on their dhotis, on their knees. That's what these cowherd boys do. And they come to this very pristine religious function, and Krishna and Balaram would like some fruit. Immediately they were, get out of here. Where are your parents? And they chased the boys.
Actually what they did though, Ragnar?
What?
They didn't even say any of that.
They just thought that in their mind.
They just totally ignored them.
Which is even worse than getting chastised.
Yeah, right? That's cold.
Wow. Ooh.
Cold.
Oh. And so they came back to Krishna and Balaram, sort of disheartened. Krishna and Balaram, we couldn't serve you. They wouldn't even, give us any attention, as if we are nothing. And then Krishna said, you know what? I sort of expected that would happen. But their wives, those simple ladies over there, go knock on their cottage door and see if they'll give some food for Krishna and Balaram. And they knocked on the door, and immediately the lady, sometimes a woman has holding a baby. Just when a woman's holding a baby, it's like
details again. Okay.
It's a good detail though. Holding a baby.
It's not there.
Every mother out there remembers what it's like to hold a baby. Even if you were a great yoga teacher, that baby just bends your back over. And sometimes you have two babies. Ever see women with two babies?
I've seen that.
Is that sometimes you're breastfeeding two babies at once.
And carrying three at the same time.
Yeah, and one on their back. Imagine.
They say that you carry the child for 9 months in the womb and then for 3 years after.
Oh, yeah. And feed the babies. Indian mothers, they feed the child with their hand. This is a squirrel, but it's very interesting. I met these Indians I'm going to go on the squirrel for a second. I met and if you're Indian on the show, I want to hear from you. I want to on the message board, but I went to this one Indian boy, Gujarati, when I was in England. I said, did your mother hand feed you? Because there's such a bond between
not even
mother,
using a spoon, just like
not even using a spoon. The
mouth.
mother feeds in the mouth. I said to the boy, I said, did your mother hand feed you? He said, yeah. I said, how many years? He goes, like 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. I said, 3 years, huh? Hand fed, no forks. He goes, yeah, 3 years. Then I met the mother. And I said, I'm trying to understand this bond between the Indian mother and the Indian child. And it's such a deep, deep bond that we don't even have in America. And I said, did you hand fed your son for 3 years? And she goes, oh no, 10 years.
10 years.
10 years I fed him.
He didn't want to admit
Shastri says, yes, it's a thing, hand fed. Yeah. Shia Shastri is on Zooms. Shia, can you also say how many years you were hand fed, please?
Share with us.
Be very curious. And are you hand feeding your little baby? Actually, I think she's breastfeeding right now, probably. She said, not me. Oh, maybe it's a boy thing. Not me, but my husband was fed till he was 10.
10.
10. Isn't that amazing?
I think Shia Shastri is becoming our new Indian consultant.
You are a new Indian consultant, Shia Shastri. want you to know that.
Okay, so
Okay, so anyway, so now she's got 2 kids, and she's feeding them both with her hands. And then the cowherd boys knocked on the door and said, Krishna and Balaram are hungry. That's all.
she
wives
kicked
of the
those kids
Brahmins need to
aside.
Kick those 2 little kids aside. Krishna and Balaram are hungry. Krishna and Balaram are hungry. Started going through the cupboards, going through
Whipping stuff up.
those double refrigerator doors that open, going through all the thing, going through the freezer, looking for things to make. What could they whip up smoothies, various things in the kitchen? What could they make Krishna and Balaram? So the idea was that all they needed to hear was an inkling that Krishna and Balaram are hungry, and they dropped everything. They went right to the essential.
You know why?
Because they understood the essence.
It's because they understood that, and I was going to say because they had heard about Krishna, and through hearing about Krishna, they had fallen in love with him.
Well, that's what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
so then what did they do?
And they're for the husbands who are the great religious people, the ones who
now
knew
they
all
ran
the
out
theology.
Oh, that's the end of this.
I'm still going.
But you're skipping over one part.
I'm going there.
Okay.
They fed Christian Bar. Now the husbands who were the leaders, the priests, the learned, erudite scholars, the pundits.
Details, right? All the details. They knew all the details.
They knew all the details, but they missed the essence. And then they lamented. They lamented, oh, to hell with all our ritual, to hell with my appropriate pronunciation, to hell. What is the essence?
Okay, so, but you skipped the part. The ladies that went out, they fed Krishna. They gave their hearts to him. Krishna expressed his appreciation. There was a whole loving exchange that took place.
Oh yeah.
So
Krishna and Balaram with their hands.
But let's give credit to the Brahmanas themselves, the husbands, because although over here, Raghu, right there, yeah. Because although
let's look at the feedback.
Let's
you know what?
stay on the
Sometimes I do
essence here.
stupid to fool you. I drag the message board over towards the camera, so
I
it looks
always
like I'm
know.
looking at
No,
your
but then
eyes.
your
and I'm
eyes are going back and forth. I always know, Raghu. I always know.
I can't fool you.
So, but the husbands, they realized the irony, the irony, and kind of like the, I don't know, just how sad in a sense it was that although they had studied so much scripture, although they had been trained and performed austerities and memorized, all for what purpose? To bring themselves closer to God. That when God came to them, they ignored him because they were all caught up in the inessentials.
Sure.
Whereas the wives, they weren't trained in all those inessentials, but they understood the essentials. And so then the husband said, to hell with all of our learning and all of our mantras and all of this and all of that, our pride that we've developed out of this. We lost the essence.
Because pride doesn't just necessarily come in beauty or fame or wealth. It can also come in your learning, even your spiritual education.
Even within that realm, yeah.
You
know what? Not only even, almost like it happens in every spiritual or religious tradition. And a lot of times this is exactly what turns people off to quote unquote religion, right? Is that people emphasize inessential things rather than the essential things. Like in other words, let's say whatever religious, but let's say Christianity, you and I grew up in that people are coming and then they're kind of forcing a certain type of morality or certain type of detailed kind of morality on people, and people just say this whole thing's turned me off, and they're not getting any of the essence, the loving essence that is what Jesus was really teaching. So we accept the detailed things to the extent that they help us get to the essence. If they're not helping us get to the essence, we can drop them like a hot potato.
Drop it.
Right? But and if they're helping us get to the essence, then we embrace them. You know, we'll embrace all the detailed information, all the different regulations, or it could be rituals, whatever it is. If it's moving us towards the essence, which is love, we embrace it. But the wiser person, the seeker of the essence, they can recognize right now the detail, which is part of the tradition, is not serving the purpose of getting to the essence. As a matter of fact, it seems to even be working against that. Then we'll drop it. We'll apply it where it's working towards the essence. We'll drop it when it's not.
And I think we especially have to be careful because we have such a deep, I don't want to say intricate, but
Very detailed
very detailed culture
Yeah.
from the way we dress, from the markings on the body, from the mantras we chant, from the rituals we do, from the pujas and the incense and the order of which one is offered.
What to speak of varnashram dharma, right? Like a whole lifestyle of how you're meant to carry out your occupation and
yeah, and it's very easily. I mean, if you're new listening to this, but you've ever visited a Hare Krishna temple in the West, you go into the gift shop and you could just be like, whoa, look at this book and look at this book and look at this outfit and look at this jewelry and look at this doll and look at this children's book and look at this deity tray and look at these deities. You can be so lost in it, and you just start, oh, I'm going to purchase this. I'm going to purchase that. I'm going to purchase my spiritual identity. And I'm not saying in a bad way. We want to feel like, okay, this is our tribe. This is what we do. This is essential. And sometimes with all these details, we can step right out of the essence. And the essential details in bhakti is chanting the holy name and not finding fault with other people. Those are,
in a sense,
that's Lord Chaitanya's, that's how the whole
Yeah.
Chaitanya Bhagavat winds up. You got to stop criticizing people, and you got to chant the holy name with all sincerity, calling God into your life.
Yeah. If the details aren't helping you do that, they're not working for you. And
No, that too is a diversion in the same way. Well, if something you're doing is diverting and taking you on a detour, and you got to be careful with detours because sometimes they're not, pastimes. They're like pathways to a whole different universe. They can just lead you astray.
It doesn't come back.
It never comes back. Yeah. But you could also get lost in these Vedic details that don't have much to do with the essential teachings. And this is what I love more than anything about our lineage. It really emphasizes details. I'm sorry, emphasizes essence
The
over
essence
the details.
behind the details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like my T-lock's a little crooked today.
Okay.
Big deal. It's a detail. It's a detail. Isn't it, Kastuba?
Well, here's the essence, though. When you put on the T-lock and you chanted the mantra, were you meditating on the mantra when you placed it there? Were you calling the Lord to reside on that part of your body?
Protect my forehead. Yes, I did.
Are you sure you are?
Yeah, and then I put the chandan on. I took the chandan on. I was thinking, oh, this is the chandan offered to my Lord. Oh, my God. Sometimes I'll say in the middle,
I'm going to look cool when I put this on.
no, I think my Lord's remnants. Sometimes I'll even say, oh, Jesus, but talking about like I'm just say, Jesus, but I'm talking about Krishna.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Seek the essence, everyone. Today's Sanskrit term for everyone, saragrahi.
Saragrahi.
Accepting
There's a
the essence.
Saragrahi listening to our show right now on Zoom.
That's right. Accept the essence, seek the essence.
Mm-hmm. Are we doing bird people today? Is that where we
I think
left off in
bird
the
people are
Bhagavatam?
coming up next. Yes, everybody is standing before Lord Nrsimhadev, who's trembling in his transcendental anger of love still. One by one, the different universal kind of representatives are stepping up, and they all are offering a prayer, in a sense, through the lens of how they see the world.
Yeah, it's nice. It's different sort of species of higher beings.
I mean, different species.
Species, right? There's different species.
Different
I'm
varieties.
I'm not a classist. You know what I mean? I think
You're not
we're
a
all
species.
spiritually connected. But there's some people in this world that are definitely from a higher realm. They do more with their life. They think their brains can just think more. I have a problem just making my bed. Just waking up, making my bed every day. That's like I gotta really concentrate on that. There's people that have like multiple businesses going on. There's just it's like a higher intelligence, and I don't think they're better than me for that. But I just do think there's different levels of human species. But the Bhagavatam talks about, well, look, I'm talking about like a real next level higher being.
Okay, and
So
they might be in the form of a bird, talking
They
bird.
might sometimes they're in the form of talking birds, and I've never seen one. Doesn't mean one can't exist.
You would
Okay,
love to see one, though, wouldn't you?
Oh, are you kidding? I'd love to see a talking bird.
Okay.
Especially if it was not just like a repeating bird. Like
No, not like a parrot or
not like a parrot. I want to see one that says,
like it
"Good
can really
day,
communicate.
sir." Good- like with a British accent and a monocle. Okay.
Okay.
The inhabitants. Oh, Narayanam namaskrityanam chaivanarottamam vedim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mudirayat. Before he started the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naishtiki, by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Tamarandasya Gyananchana Salakaya Chakshurunmilatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8,
Text number
54.
Okay, we got just 3 more verses in this, and then we could move on to the next chapter. Which is next chapter,
Other
Raghunath?
planets.
Next chapter.
What's
You
next
see,
chapter
here we're
called?
getting prayer, like we've got a long list of prayers that are coming from people on different levels of depth of spiritual realization. Next chapter is all Prahlad, and it's all on the high level, and it's like chock full of essence. You know, it's really good. But let's hear what the bird people have to say.
Okay, the inhabitants of Vitalika Loka. I don't think those are the bird people. Do you know, Mara?
Mara?
I couldn't find anything on it, but I did look it up.
Okay. All right, you're off the hook. If that's what you're saying.
Well, no, hold it. What would Tamal Krishna Goswami say, Raghunath? with
Did
that?
you look it up? Did you look it up?
Did you check
Where
the
did you look
Puranic
it up?
Encyclopedia? Did you?
Well, Kanaras are bird people. Vitala Loka, second descending from the earth region, from Vitala. Prahlad and his brothers have their cities. Who's right? No one knows this. Sargra, he's trying. Okay.
What she got?
I don't think she's got it.
It's something about the region, but not the people.
Yeah.
Well, Shiva and Parvati reside there, she's saying.
Where? In
The
this
Suras
Loka?
there, Raghunath.
Interesting.
Demons.
As well, they're under the name. Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
let's hear what they have to say.
Dear Lord, because of chanting your spotless glories in great assemblies and arenas of sacrifice, we were accustomed to great respect from everyone. This demon, however, usurped that position. Now, to our great fortune, you have killed this great demon exactly as one cures a chronic disease, right? If someone's got a chronic disease and all of a sudden they're cured, they must feel like, oh my God, you've given me life again. So
It's just
Poo is just squashing their rituals.
It's so interesting. So that just how they express themselves, right? Because we were chanting your spotless glories,
Mm.
in great assemblies and arenas of sacrifice, like in the public arena,
Yeah.
we were accustomed to great respect from everyone. Like, in one sense, they're saying because we're connected to you, we received a lot of respect in society. We were seen as high level people.
Sure.
And then Hiranyakashipu kind of ruined that whole thing. And thank you for kind of restoring everything back to the way it was. It's a glorification of Vishnu, but it's not that of the pure devotee.
And I'm not making any judgments on you bird people.
These aren't bird people that are speaking.
Oh, the bird people are coming. Okay.
Yeah, but
let's hear what the bird people say. Maybe
my point is just the Bhagavatam again, because it's always speaking to the essence. It's showing us that they were moving towards the essence, but they hadn't boiled it down to the full essence yet, because that's not the way Prahlad is gonna pray.
Okay. Here's
All right.
another one.
Now the bird people, the Kanaras. Right?
The Kanara said, O Supreme Controller, we are ever existing servants of your lordship. But instead of rendering service to you, we were engaged by this demon in his service constantly and without remuneration.
We didn't get anything for it.
Wait, like maybe were they getting something financially from the Lord? We were ever existing servants of your lordship, but instead of rendering service to you, we were engaged by this demon in his service constantly and without any remuneration. This sinful man has now been killed by you. Therefore, O Lord Nrsingadev, our master, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Please continue to be our Patreon member. Sign up for our Patreon account, my lord.
Our patron. Okay, that was the bird people.
That was the bird people. They have their own. Please, wisdomofthesages.com/Patreon/bird people.
Bird people. Birdman. Now we're gonna, the last verse, it actually is gonna go to people on a whole different level of spiritual awareness. We're gonna hear from residents of Vaikuntha who apparently came down into the material realm to witness this event.
Now, you gotta understand, everybody looks like Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha.
Yeah, so that we can picture them as four-armed, kind of bluish skinned,
crowns, jewels,
all of
beautiful personalities.
But
Imagine
what's the
how
difference?
beautiful.
What's the two details that you can know that these aren't Lord Vishnu?
The Kastuba gem.
Oh, Merrick. Merrick jumping
and
right in
the
there. Yeah.
Srivatsa, right?
Nice, nice.
All right, it stumped me.
Srivatsa,
I was
that
like
little,
a flute.
little
Ankle bells.
silvery tuft of swirl of a hair kind of thing on the chest where Lakshmi resides.
It's almost like trying to find the queen bee in a hive. You know what I mean? It's like they all look the same, but slightly
There's
different.
one of them that's the center of this whole thing here, right? Yeah.
Right. They all look the same, but you got to look close. Oh, wait a second. That one's
How do you know the
the
queen?
hair on the chest. The queen bee is bigger.
Okay.
And they usually mark them. Like the people who
they
you
put
buy
a little-
the bees from, they put a little mark on them.
Hmm.
So you can tell them, but they're a little bigger than the other bees.
Okay. What do the associates of Lord Vishnu and Vaikuntha have to say?
Well, they say this. The associates of Lord Vishnu and Vaikuntha offered this prayer. O Lord, our supreme giver of shelter, today we have seen your wonderful form as Lord Nrsingadev, meant for the good fortune of the world. O Lord, we can understand that Hiranyakashipu was the same Jaya who engaged in your service but was cursed by the Brahmins and who thus received the body of a demon. We understand that his having now been killed is your special mercy upon him. And it's pretty amazing, Kostuba. There can be a classic demon, even of this material world, like Hiranyakashipu. I mean, Hiranyakashipu, according to all these other, even very exalted beings, even the bird beings, what to speak of, like learned humans, humanoids, we call them. They just think this guy's a great demon. He's ruining everything. But the Vaikuntha people actually saw the backstory. They saw the backstory of Hiranyakashipu and said, actually, he was a great devotee and he was cursed. We don't even know that if there's great demons on earth, if they're actually demons or if they're taking some role just to stir stuff up. Everything's sort of just happening. So many things are out of our control. And all we have to do is see, how are we going to react to this? Can we act with personal integrity, with devotion, or are we going to get overwhelmed with hate?
What about Pol Pot?
Pol Pot. Yeah, who knows? The things he did were demonic. It always comes back to Pol Pot, doesn't it? We talk about Pol Pot so much on this show.
So Raghunath, here we hear another perspective. Here we hear another perspective. Hear ye. There's another perspective. This is a perspective of people without the burden of the mind, without the burden of the programming of the material mind. Right?
Sure.
These
Friends
are
and
residents of
enemies.
Vaikuntha, right? Yeah, and so they're not caught. Yeah, like they're not caught up in the friends and enemies. Like, we had an enemy, you just killed him. Thank you for restoring everything the way it was before. They don't think on that level. What they see when they see Hiranyakashipu killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, what they see, look at how Lord Vishnu just gave mercy. Look at how he benefited him. Look at how, even though he was so demoniac, the way everything that he does is a benediction. They're seeing what others aren't seeing, you know. And so they're with a mind unburdened by material considerations or material attachments. They're able to see the glory of Lord Vishnu in the way that the bird people didn't see, apparently. And they can fly too, so they got it all. Okay,
They got it all.
All right. Thus ends Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8. Lord Nrsimhadev slays the king of the demons. That was we spent a long time with that chapter, and I think we may spend a long time with the next one too, because there's a lot of fascinating information in it. Shall we begin it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump to the next chapter, and it's entitled
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9. Prahlad pacifies Lord Nrsimhadev with prayer. Remember, Lord Nrsimhadev still really worked up after murdering the demon, or should we
Transcendentally
say
worked up.
liberating the demon.
That's right. Want to start?
Yeah.
Text 1.
1. The great saint Narada continued. So Narada is narrating this. The demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not come forward before the Lord, who at that time was extremely angry.
Okay, he's just, I mean,
He's still fuming.
even Lord Shiva, right? Like these incredibly powerful beings are just like, whoa.
It's
Never
appropriately
seen this.
placed anger. We say,
Yeah.
we were talking about that in
Anger of
Q&A
love.
day. Q&A day the other day. It's sort of like, what is a reflection of the world, the shadow of this world? Well, yeah, there any like emotion that's actually bringing you closer to God, right? You can have anger. The devotees are getting punished, hurt, and I'm furious about it. That type of anger brings you closer to God.
Righteous.
Whereas someone
Anger.
cut me off, and this guy can't drive.
That's
I
another
can
thing.
drive, and I'm
Road rage.
waving my fist out the window, and I'm tailgating him. That anger is not bringing me closer to God. There's
Unless
a reflection.
you have a devotee in the car with you and you felt that their life was being threatened.
Yeah.
Then even road rage enters the level of the spiritual domain.
You're justifying everything, aren't you? No, it's true. But these emotions that seem dark, when they're connected with Lord Vishnu and they bring us closer to God.
They have, yeah. Our anger is the warped reflection of it, right? It's warped by our
and they're
selfishness,
bringing
by
you
our
farther away.
yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Okay. So they're all standing there
just
like too hot.
Wasn't there a story of somebody stole the deity in Boston?
Oh, yeah. That's a secret one. We don't talk about that.
We
I guess we can talk about
that.
it now. It's 20
Well, the
years later.
idea is sort of like it's thieving, it's stealing, but the person might have done it out of some extreme.
That was also done in New Vrindavan.
They stole the deity.
When the deities of Ram, Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman were going to be moved from New Vrindavan to New Jersey, where they are now. Someone stole Hanuman.
Someone stole Hanuman?
Someone stole Hanuman. I'm not going to let him go.
Okay, don't get any ideas, people.
Don't steal the deities.
But
it's been
the person could be more Krishna conscious for that thievery.
It could. I'm not.
And the famous story about your guru,
Yeah.
who was given, it was eating. They were all eating with Prabhupada, and someone and Prabhupada had a bite out of a rasgulla or a gulab jamun, some type of sweet, and he gave it right to your guru. And this is like the Mahaprasad, the Mahaprasad of the Mahaprasad, right? And so he's got a remnants of the food, which is considered very, very powerful to get the remnants of your guru. And it's got a bite out of it also. And someone just snuck up behind it and took it off your guru's
He had it
plate.
on the plate like he was going to leave it for the end, right?
Yeah. And someone just took it, snatched it right off his plate and threw it in his mouth. And Tamaksh Maharaj said, Prabhupada, did you see that? Did you see what he did?
Like
And
it was very
Prabhupada's
wrong what
reply-
he did.
Prabhupada's reply was, yes, he is very, very smart. Transcendental thievery.
Okay. All right. So anger, it can be properly applied. Thievery.
Next
Yes.
time I come to your house, I'm just gonna rob your books. I'm gonna bring a big duffel bag.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. We're going to text number 2.
Transcendental. 2. All right, this is 2. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Ji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord. But even she had never seen such
Even
a wonderful,
she had never seen.
even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him either.
Okay. So first of all, it's interesting that it's saying that Lakshmi had never seen such a amazing form. This form in the Shringa Devi it's glorified even amongst so many other avatars somehow. And Lakshmi is the consort, the divine, intimate, like wife. And she's looking at him like, nope, I haven't seen him like this before. I'm afraid. That anger was just so powerful that she's like, nope.
Okay, and now Narada Muni is continuing on. O king, although the exalted devotee. Oh, therefore, Lord Brahma request. Therefore, Lord Brahma what?
Yeah.
Thereafter, it takes 2 people to get me to read properly.
What book are you reading from?
Thereafter, Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj, who was standing very near him, my dear son, Lord Nisringadev is extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and appease him.
Oh,
The little boy just comes forward.
So Lord Brahma, he's kind of number 1. He turns to Prahlad. He understands what needs to be done, right?
You
Only
gotta get
Prahlad.
Only
He came for Prahlad. If anybody's going to be able to cool him down, it's going to be Prahlad. Imagine when that big paw came.
Big paw, right?
Oh, furry.
Then I go over, hey, Nisringadev, he kisses my claw. You still got a lot of demon in your heart, Capo. Thought I was going to get the paw.
And you got the claw. Maybe we got to end here because we can pick up tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. It's 57. Hi, Miss Mara. Oh, we got an exciting day today, Miss Mara, listening to the Chaitanya Bhagavat gardening. That's what today is doing. I'm really enjoying doing. All my travels are over for most of the month.
Okay.
I'm going to Detroit once, but otherwise I'm staying home and gardening.
Thanks for
There's
sharing.
so much
that
work
with us,
to do on this property.
Yeah. We're getting it all ready and nice for you, Kastuba, when you come with Wisdom of the Sages.
Yeah.
Oh, Raghunath, you're before my deities when you say that. So
I'm what?
You're when you say that, you are before my deities. They're right behind me there. So
yeah, I'm saying that. When I'm clipping,
this was your intention. You're thinking of me
and digging holes.
This is for Kastuba. That's what you're thinking.
Kastuba.
You're before them right now. Be careful. Okay, be careful.
It's pleasing the
You're
devotees.
before your deities too. You're right in front of your altar.
Pleasing the devotees. That was our theme of our Seva weekend. We think of this.
Pleasing the devotees.
And we do work.
That's the essence.
To please
That's
the
the essence, isn't it not, Raghunath? Let's bring it right back full circle. That's the essence.
All right. You want some takeaways?
Give me some takeaways. Give me some message board.
No message board.
I'm listening.
Well, some of these are coming from the message board, though, right?
And the Shringam Chaturdashi is a week away.
Oh, yeah.
May 22nd, I think, ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's more than a week, but okay.
All right. Okay.
Don't get caught up fighting about non-essentials.
Don't get caught up in the non-essential. Fight over that, you miss the point. Hey, we're going to stay with us. We're going to stay with us. Right? We're almost at the end. Stay with us, Raghu. Over here. Where you see my eyes? Over here. There you go. Yeah, almost.
Let me move this. See, looking right at Kastuba. Okay. Through hearing about Krishna, you fall in love with Krishna.
Oh, that's what happened with the wives of the Brahmanas.
Yeah. Bhagavatam boils it down to the essence.
Mm-hmm.
To hell with the rituals if you miss the essence.
To hell.
Can we react to demons with personal integrity and not be overwhelmed by hate?
Oh, like Pol Pot?
Ooh.
Does he really get to you?
He does. He killed a lot of people.
He did. What was the name of his organization?
The Khmer Rouge.
Very good. Did you know that, Mary?
I
Khmer
did.
Rouge.
You did.
Yeah.
All right.
The essential details are chant the holy name and don't criticize.
Yeah, right there. That's the formula.
Unburden your mind of material attachments to see the glory of Lord Vishnu.
Mm-hmm.
If it isn't helping get to the essence, drop it like a hot potato.
Just drop it.
Oh. Let your anger and thievery bring you closer to God.
Okay. Whatever
And-
anger or thievery that's in your life.
And don't steal the deities.
Good
Don't
one.
steal the deities.
Or
Don't
do it.
Or do it.
Or if you're on that level.
If you're really into them.
I suppose if
If
you
you want to
really
advance in bhakti, steal everything spiritual. Steal the sweets. Steal the sweets off your guru's plate.
But just imagine what it's like to be a temple president, and then someone knocks on your door at 4 in the morning and says, there's a problem.
The deities are missing.
Someone stole the
There's
deities.
a problem. There's a big, big problem.
Yeah.
They got it
Guru
back.
says,
They got
don't
the
even
deities
think
back.
about stealing the deities.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it.
Don't think
Thank you,
about it.
Guru.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Nice way to start your morning.
Or is that a
listening to
detail?
Bhagavatam. Huh?
Is that a detail or is
Stealing the deities is not a detail. It's an essential principle.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. All the deities are missing tomorrow, we find. You just got to take care of them if you steal them. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's I think it's going to be a beautiful day today in every way. No matter what happens, you got to understand Krishna's behind it. For our evolution. To bring us
Okay.
closer to
Get
God.
that way, yeah?
That's how we reframe ups and downs of the material world. It's all meant to bring us higher and higher and higher. Set. So there, Kastuva.
Did you see that something was shared on the chat board? I'm sure you spent a little time with it, Raghunath.
Did it have
from
anything to do with the
Chuta.
Northern Lights?
It had to do with human anatomy versus bird anatomy.
Oh, really? They have a bigger heart, I think, than human. They've got a big heart. Krishna Mai is here. What would I do if my deities were stolen, Karuna said. Hopefully I'd lose my mind. Actually, you know what? I had my deities stolen.
Hopefully I'd lose my mind.
When I was in shelter, I had a Govardhan deity, Govardhan Shila deity, and I kept them.
Stolen or kind of misplaced.
What are you
forever.
implying?
Misplaced forever.
No, not misplaced. I was in Amsterdam, the notorious place of all the Dutch people listening out there. No, I was in Amsterdam, and the band was on tour, and I had a camera case that I kept my deity in, my little stone deity from Don Gatti at Govardhan, wrapped in silk, put in a silver box with all silver puja paraphernalia, and it was sitting next to me along with all the band's equipment. And the bus was coming to pull me up, and I had to watch all the equipment, and it was literally next to my leg, and someone must have snuck up behind me and taken it, thinking they stole a camera. But what in fact they stole was a stone wrapped in silk.
I think losing the deity is worse than stealing a deity. When you're stealing the deity, you're like, I love you, I want to take you with me. When you lose the deity, it's like, I'm so oblivious to you.
But you know what? Actually, I can't say it. Are you accusing me?
I'm
Being
just telling it
oblivious?
like it is, right?
I know, but it ignited my bhakti also. So it was a good. So it was a good thing.
Talk about rationalizing.
Well, whatever brings you closer to God, I was thinking, oh, my deity, my deity, my deity, oh, my deity. Maybe more intensely than if I had the deity with me. Believe me, I was heartbroken. You know what I did?
Find that deity.
I called Sachinandana Swami. Oh, I did.
He
I
appeased
went.
your
I went to
heart.
pawn shops all over Amsterdam. hoping
thought
I would
someone
find
would
a
bring the
stone.
Govardhan Sheila to pawn shop?
Yeah, maybe.
How many pawn shops did you go to?
Hundreds.
Now you're lying.
Hundreds of
Raghunath, you're lying.
Hundreds. I was
Did
convinced.
Satyananda Swami kind
I
of
called
appease your heart?
Satyananda Swami. I called Hit Krishna Kshetra Swami. Right after
And?
that happened.
What did they
They
say?
both comforted me.
Okay.